Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Skolldir Showdown. Once again, my name is Mr. Pillow, and with me is Pyro Cheese. I want to see how many different ways I can say your name before the end of the stream.
Yeah, I'm sure there's gonna be a couple of inventive ways that you can come up with. Pyro Cheese, I don't know. You can ask Velcro. He's been very, very inventive with how different ways to come up with my name. Don't ask Nilmar though. Nilmar is almost a different beast in itself. But yeah.
That'll be the next showdown is Pyro Cheese Showdown, and just a bunch of people trying to say your name the most impressively.
Yeah, definitely. There's been a couple of my personal favorite has been before this matchmaking system when sniping was still a thing. I guess I was sniped by someone who would change the entire other team names into riffs on my name. For some reason, the one that really caught my attention was Pyro Brie, which Brie is a kind of cheese if you don't know. But I don't know why it was so simple, but it really struck me for some reason
That's crazy.
That was just
because it rhymes, but it's the same name.
Yeah, basically. So I got a kick out of that one personally, but yeah.
You see, the only name I've ever seen a play on mine was Mr. Pillow Biter. So you got the more friendly and nicer ones.
I mean, I did specifically cherry pick a pretty nicer one. Like I said, if you want to reference Nilmar, there have been some other kind of names thrown out there, but anyway.
Gotcha. So our next match, we have 8 players, and so far we've seen Love, Yellow, Body Hunter, Edster, Starsan, and Apollo. So that leads to, we have the expected winner, your last time winner of Skolldir Showdown versus the dark horse of this tournament. Of course, I'm talking about Niki and Uberransy. Niki is kind of, I guess, the fan favorite here. That's the one everybody thinks is going to win. And he won Skolldir Showdown last year. A bunch of people would just kind of pretty commonly and fairly refer him to the best Skolldir player in the entire game. But Uberransy actually, he didn't make the playoffs last year. Excuse me, the playoffs necessarily yesterday. He actually made 9th place. It was the top 7 that made it in. But what happened is the 7th player Zuji did not manage to make it in today, and so in that situation we just kind of go down the list. The number 8 player Big Bob wasn't available to play the playoffs, so we went to number 9. Number 9 was Uberransy. So you literally have the underdog versus kind of the David versus Goliath there. My question is,
Yeah.
Pyro, can they do it? And chat, can they do it? Tell us who you think is going to win. We're doing the bet system for this match. Type Ty, Niki, or Uberransy. But Pyro, what do you think?
I mean, I think it's interesting to see this. I mean, frankly speaking, I have effectively 0 experience with Uber's Skolldir. Niki, on the other hand, almost famous in this community, recognized by pretty much anyone you ask, especially when it comes down to their Skolldir, or really anything that they play. So it's kind of interesting to see this kind of dynamic here that, frankly, one person was expected to be, one of the top picks for this tournament overall, while on the other hand, frankly speaking, got in because of a technicality. But it's still interesting to see what kind of dynamic is going to come out. Like you said, kind of underdog versus big showman kind of guy, and maybe not showman is the right term, but David versus Goliath for sure. So it'll be interesting to see, to say the very least.
Indeed. So we're gonna get into this match. I am at the 18-second mark. Would you like to give us a countdown, my friend?
That sounds good. 18-second mark in 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright, and we're off immediately. Nope, nothing hit yet. Niki going in, gonna find a nice third punch, gonna find the quick, gonna find the throw, and kind of slightly questionable counter throw coming out from Uberransy there. Actually, Niki taking a lot of damage. He might just be the first blood, but nope, he's actually gonna manage to beat up Niki.
Wow.
But the throw, and oh my gosh!
So
the whip, that's gonna feel so bad. And
just to not be first blood.
Uberransy caught Niki hard there, and then I think he got so nervous he didn't expect him to catch Niki, and so Niki was just went in and finished the job before anything else went wrong.
Yeah, Niki still has yet to go down. There we go. So 1v1, Uberransy can put that on his bed that he did in fact kill the god. He does in fact bleed. So that's just something interesting. You know, no matter how the outcome of this comes out, you know, David vs Goliath, I think it is just nice to be able to say that, not to like call the match before it actually ends or anything like that, but just to say that, you know, when against Nikki, held my own ground, you know, because at the end of the day, Nikki, like we said, is just very, very famed and known to be an excellent player. So just to be able to say, you know, I kind of held my own against him, I think that's something to be proud of in its own right, regardless of how this outcome comes out, I guess.
Indeed. And Nikki's kind of starting to keep up the momentum now. He's the sort of player that's probably one of the few, if not only players in this tournament that my whole you spin your HP to deal damage philosophy doesn't really apply to, because he's the sort of guy that'll go in low and actually still dodge everything. He's the guy that baits your cooldowns and consistently lands his punches. Like,
oh, that was a throw right off the right wall, I believe, is what actually got him there.
Yeah, he didn't even fall down. That was definitely the right wall. Uberransy actually keeping this game tight. If this is a dark horse match, I mean, this is it, you know, if there ever was. Like, Uberransy actually keeping the game tied against Niki, I think is absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to note. I do have those charts up that say both the kills death as well as the healing. Healing is actually exactly even right now, so you know that the only thing that tells me is that they've actually been able to land the exact number of third punches on each other, which you know is vital when it comes to Skolldir matches overall.
Indeed, and ooh, not a good throw there. Niki and Uberransy just going back and forth. Niki has taken a slight lead. Oh, Uberransy's gonna whiff the throw. Niki, I think, didn't see that throw until he saw the gnome, and that was kind of his, you know, context clue that, you know, Uberransy was on cooldown, but he waited for a second, still treating as though Uberransy was ready. Okay, now he's gonna bait it hard. Uberransy has to be careful. He's on cooldown, he's taking a lot of damage. They're gonna trade some punches right there, and Uberransy backed up into a really bad corner. Niki knows it, Uberransy knows it. Uberransy isn't sure how to get out of the situation. He tries to find the throw. It's going to be a bit too short. And Niki was just kind of good on the spacing there. He dropped down trying to get Uberransy to do a drop throw prediction because he fell back instead of even going towards Uberransy and then just finished him off after the throw was consumed. So that, you know, the throw is what lets someone, you know, turn it around when they're low HP. If they don't have the throw, there's really not much you can do to contest if someone wants to go in and, you know, just deal damage until you die. And that's exactly what happened. Niki just knew that one, turn this around condition of Uberransy, and doing it again, just playing on the jump pads, just kind of, at this point, he kind of has adapted to Uberransy's playstyle, and he's maintaining good control of the map. He's having faster reaction speeds, more clean, and just tighter mechanics. I think, like, that is one of the biggest differences between Niki and the other players. The mechanics are very tight. You know, I don't think he has an incredibly different play style, so to speak, from everyone else. He definitely does a bunch of things that no one else does, but like especially in terms of aggressiveness, so to speak, and baiting. But in general, like, you know, he goes in just like everyone else does in the same ways. He has the same maneuvers that everyone else does. He's doing the thing.
Yeah, he's trying to do the thing. He's being. Oh, there you go.
Oh my.
Oh man, now he's just showing off, really.
He is. Well, he might just die here. But my point about Niki is that he doesn't miss. You know, how often have we, like, even in there, on these crazy situations there, like, he still hits every punch, including the first and the third hits, and dodges the gnome. Like, he doesn't, it's not like a miraculous dodge, gnome dodge, but he doesn't tilt the way other players do. And he just, again, he hits his attacks. Like, yeah. you want to be the best player, hit your stuff. Like, don't miss. There you go.
Okay, that's just being a little cocky right there, Niki. I mean, gotta say, that's a little BM, I gotta say. But you know, I guess he can afford it. Yeah, one of those things about landing abilities, just landing everything in general. You know, I pointed out the healing aspect earlier, but you know, definitely is in Niki's favor at this point, roughly around 6,500 versus 4,800, right up at the end of this match, and that is going to be Uberransy's final fall for this match right here.
Well, he has just come back, though. You know, there is the match 2 that we will be showing very momentarily. Do you think he's going to be able to make it? Going to be able to make the dream happen?
I mean, there's always that nice underdog story, you know, every single movie involving sports I've ever seen always involves some underdog victory that comes through the end. You know, that 50-yard touchdown that comes at the end because they reached out and something like that, divine intervention, what have you. You know, anything's possible when it comes down to it, trying to keep it down a little bit to this level. But, you know, when it comes down to it, Uberransy actually was demonstrating some skill, I guess, that sounds offensive almost. But what I'm getting at is that he can hold his own.
Uberransy has skill. Who would have
thought?
Yeah,
right? Uberransy, you know, I'm surprised that he actually knows what he's doing. No.
But they kept it tied at first. It was 3-3 in anybody's game, and like he almost the first play, he just kind of choked it a little bit. I think he got nervous more than anything. Like if it was two robots on the same skill play, I think this match would have actually been incredibly close. I think every time Uberransy was about to kill Niki, he started. I almost feel as though he was going to himself, "Oh my God, I'm gonna kill Niki." He kind of hyped him up, and that's what I'm saying. Like the reason Niki does so well consistently in all these tournaments. Again, I think there's obviously a multitude of factors. He's a great drafter. He's you know, plays a bunch of different knots, has great game sense. But the biggest thing is he doesn't really choke that much. He hits his things and he goes in and just, you know, hits his attacks. So you have to consider that damage he's going to deal to you if you go in on him. And like that's like the biggest thing I think. Like just remember that there's nothing he can do on his keyboard that you can't do on yours. At the end of the day, you know, we're all playing Skolldir here. We all got the same build. And I believe these are all keyboard and mouse players. They're not a Heathen controller player like I am. But I think that's like one of the biggest things there is just remaining cool and being like, I'm 1 HP. He's coming off the jump pad. If I time it right, I third punch him and live. You know, you're not going like, oh my God, I gotta get this third punch. And I think that's part of Niki's mentality and what keeps him playing extremely well, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think people would overall just generally not really kind of undervalue the value of your own mindset when it comes into this. And I think we did kind of see evidence of that going back to that Love versus YOLO fight where, you know, even it's kind of strange to say it like this, but the body language, I guess you could say that Love was exemplifying, was definitely one of someone who's tilted or frustrated or just, you know, getting a little bit burnt out, you know, just trying to look for anything, trying to become a little bit desperate. And when you get into that kind of stage, you just start falling apart, frankly. And that's something that, you know, like I said, I think that's one of Niki's strong suits. He has many, but I think that's one of the bigger ones that I think is a little bit undervalued, that he keeps a cool head. He keeps it level-headed. He says, like, looks at the situation, says, all right, this is how things stand. This is what I can do. This is what I can get away with. And even then, he's still confident in actually executing those things. He doesn't really waver much, if at all, with those kinds of situations. And I think that's something that's very, very much to his benefit.
Exactly, you know. Remaining calm is just like part of, you know, keeps you from making reckless decisions. It keeps you from missing things, and it just, you know, keeps your head in the game. It keeps you asking yourself what your win condition is instead of freaking out about whether or not there is a win condition, you know, just calmly interpreting the situation and saying, what are my available options? Not asking yourself if the option availability is crap, just asking yourself what they are. And that, you know, that makes it a big difference. The question is, can Uberransy stop tilting? Can he make the big difference at the next match? My friend, I am at the 18-second mark if you are ready.
I am indeed ready.
Alright, well, I'll give us a countdown. It's 3, 2, 1, and we're off. And Niki gonna be immediately taking the jump pad and manages to do a lot of damage.
Oh, wow.
That was like throw off sides in literally 4 seconds, dude.
Yeah. Man, I mean, rough start so far, but I mean, you know, quick kill, quick to get back up on your feet as well. So, you know, even with that immediate disadvantage, we are getting back into what we were seeing a little bit last match, where a little bit more classical trades. You know, Uberransy looking like he's still able to hold his own, utilizing that jump pad to get a quick off on Niki right there. You know, just those using any advantage that you can at this point, really, in general, I think is very, very good for any player to be doing. And they're gonna get another quick off on Niki right there. Actually, Uberransy having the health advantage at this point, and Niki just kind of chilling out there for a second too. Oh, and that's gonna be Niki going down right there. So 1v1 again, being able to hold his own a little bit, at least in the early stages of the match right now. So we'll see how the rest of the match progresses from here.
Indeed. And Ooh, that was a nice throw off the jump pad. One thing I want to see both players do, it kind of comes at the cost of one of your cooldowns. One thing you could do to make that was a nice frag right there, make the throw off the jump pad even harder to react to, is you can quake onto the jump pad and fall extremely fast, and then just immediately hit throw. In about the span of half a second, you can go from above the jump pad to the top mid area, throwing, and just like, you have to know the player's about to make that entire set of moves in order to dodge that, I think. Otherwise, if you're just trying to anticipate oh, Niki almost got stun locked off the jump pad. That was incredibly close. But it comes back, finds the throw, and now just going extremely fast. Look how swiftly he is moving.
Yeah, he's definitely much more comfortable with this map setup than I think I've seen a lot of other players at this point. You know, definitely utilizing both jump pads at either end of the screen. I really haven't seen too much action with the mid jump pads though, but I mean, they definitely do exist. They have been there. Uberransy just using it right there for a second.
I would definitely agree that the mid jump pads aren't as useful in terms of like plays and stuff you can do. Definitely there's the stun lock. There is the stun lock, and now Niki might get his second death doing it again. Oh, but he gets stun punched, and okay, yeah, he really wants to make this work. I don't think it's actually that useful of a tech. Like it's really not. Like he's like. He died because he keeps trying to make that strategy work. It doesn't work, honestly. It's even if you mechanics wise, your flaws in execution, it's just like really easy to read, and it's really, even though it looks funny, it's so telegraphed. You know, like it's like so clear what the available plays are to the person doing the jumping.
Yeah, when it comes to the risk reward, that's something I wouldn't even mess around with, because I mean the risk is you die just by missing the jump. The reward is you have a slightly different and not even very effective jump. It's just like unexpected more than anything else. But you can't even really capitalize it based on, you know, going directly up. You can maybe make it to the glass platform closest to the jump pad. If not, just take the jump pad normally like you would after that, so.
And Niki throwing a gnome back, trying to find the hit, but Uberransy gonna punish him for that. That's actually gonna be a 1-for-1. It's gonna bring the score 6-3 in Niki's favor. And Uberransy actually gonna find the throw. He's watching out for the counter throw from Niki. That's one thing that they're actually careful about. If you try to get too close with your oily, just trying to get all the efficiency out of that, it sets you up for a very easy counter throw. Then your oily gets stopped. It doesn't get canceled, but by the time you're on stun, it's just worn off time-wise. And then the other player has their full oily, and you don't have anything to counter it with. And that's something that both players are pretty cautious about. This is actually extremely close. Niki has less HP there. That was an excellent stun prediction coming out from Uberransy. They're both fishing out there. Niki getting pretty aggressive, trying to look for it. They're going to do the trade throw, bringing it 7-4. Uberransy learning his lesson. You know, he could have made that into a 1-for-nothing. But the fact is, I think, like, if this was the beginning of the first match, he would have just died without killing Niki. But no, he knew that he had to just have the confidence to go in and play his mechanics right. He adapted to the way Niki played these type situations and managed to make that into a trade. That was actually really, really well done. Meantime, Niki's gonna have Uberransy backed up into the corner. He's gonna pick up another clean frag. He's trying to get the anticipation there. There's the mind games we were talking about earlier in another match about the jump pad. Just trying to guess when he's not gonna spawn. It's not about like forcing them to spawn and then like just
sounds like it'd be another that's gonna be another edge kill right there. He's gotten I think this is the most fall kills I've seen in a single match. I think at least 3 from Niki, definitely.
I think part of the issue is he's not afraid to go for him either. Like again, he doesn't really miss that much. So like like when you stun lock off the jump pad, it's kind of a risky situation. You can get counter thrown, you can screw yourself up with the jump pad. You can accidentally get stun locked so that you fall down. You kind of, and even if you have the confidence to overcome those risks, you still have to play it right to even find that stun punch anyways. And like that's what Niki's willing to do. He's willing to go for the weird tech that's on the jump pad. Think willing to go for the stun locks off the sides, and let's go for high risk, high reward because he, you know, I think he kind of sees. Oh my gosh!
I think